this. Okay, so I got that going. And then you guys probably see us. This is my second time doing this, so everybody just bear with me. Okay, well, guys, it's coming up.
This is how the sausage is made.
Oh my goodness!
Not sausage.
Live. Okay, I gotta now record this.
Oh, child.
Okay, so then I would take this off again.
Good cool shirt.
Okay, so that's off. Okay, good. And I want to see the chat room. If you guys, so I can see it. And there it is. If anybody shows up, you are watching. Okay, welcome to the new edition of the GH Mini Spotlight here on JLJ Media. I am James Lott Jr. And of course, I want you guys know that we are back because GH is back, bitches. They're back. We're back, bitches. Everybody's bitches. Everybody's back. And, you know, you have a couple of temporary recasts too that happened this week. So I want to talk about that are like everything to me. But hello, Adelia. And hey, what else? They're here. Okay, people are coming in. Okay, everybody come on in. Join us. The water is fine. Come on in. And I want to say, before I introduce these people who are sitting here with me, this is not GH Report. Sorry, folks. It's not AfterbuzzTV. AfterbuzzTV is, do my air quotes, not on right now because on hiatus. This is JLJ Media. I'm Shady. You know I'm Shady. Shady Sunday. You know I don't give a fuck. No, this is my network, JLJ Media. Thanks for joining us. This is GH Mini Spotlight that I normally do spotlights of things and interviews. But because this came back after this COVID thing, I could not, Michael B. likes Lacretia already. I could not do it. And I'm not doing it by myself. No, not at all. So I brought several generations of GH Report hosts to do it with me. To my left, not left, is a girl that I just love to pieces, and she's giving me big hair realness. She's the curvy critic, Miss Carla Renata. I was making her laugh. You know I'm crazy. And below her, my homegirl from around the way. There's only one of her, and her name sounds black, Lacretia Lyon.
Yeah.
And as I said on the first show of GH Report all those years ago, the heartthrob of the group, my frenemy, Frank Moran. Hi, Frank.
Has not been kind to me.
Oh, you love my shirt. Okay, so folks are here.
Not that
here.
laugh.
Okay, you know I'm crazy. So let me just tell you something. Here's the church announcements. Thanks for the folks who are joining JLJ Media. I am Soap Sundays now, so I do shows for all the networks, for all the different soaps that are out there, plus Forever and a Day, which Lacretia stars in, our new audio soap. So we're doing shows for that here. So subscribe here or to any streaming service you want to go to. You can find our shows there. And then Dishin Days, because they're our friends, I'm on that show sometimes, they have their own channel. They're on Dishin Days YouTube. And they had a show today with Lindsay Godfrey and Paul Telford. It was a really good show. So follow them there too. So Soap Sundays are still around, just on 2 networks, not AfterbuzzTV. Okay. That's all the announcements I said. I want to say that 10 times. For you folks out there who are bothering the F out of me, this is JLJ Media.
Just AfterBuzz, really, right?
Okay, everybody, let me take my face off. It's AfterbuzzTV! You'd die if I did that. All of a sudden I have like an AfterbuzzTV shirt on. I'm like, it's AfterbuzzTV, bitches! Where's my B microphones? Where are they? For tuning in. I used to wear my GH shirt, and I got some GH shirts, back when they used to do stuff for us. Not anymore, but well, thank you. Oh, I'm shady. You know I'm shady, so this is good. So, guys, we had, well, first of all, before we do all that, how are you doing? I mean, so folks out here haven't seen you in a while. They're talking already. Like, Carla, start with you. How are you doing during this whole strange COVID time?
You know, it hasn't been that strange for me. The first part of it, anyway, is starting to get a little strange now. But the first part of it, it wasn't that strange because we were still doing GH Report. I was still doing Curvy Critic, and, you know, stuff was just kind of moving and grooving like nothing was different. And then the reality of it kind of set in. And then I was like, ooh, so yeah, this is different. We living in some different times right about now. This is special. But I try not to look at it as challenging. I try to look at it as making a pivot. Everybody's making a pivot, you know, and what that pivot looks like is different for every individual. And they're doing the best that they know how with the circumstances that we're all faced with. But for me personally, it hasn't been that bad.
Well, good. Lacretia Lyon. I mean, I've seen a lot of you over the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
So, but tell the fans that they're happy to see you in here. They're so happy to see you here. So tell the folks how you've been.
Well, I've been doing pretty good. I mean, obviously watching a lot of soaps in the daytime Emmys, as you probably have seen me if you're on this network with James.
Yes.
And, I do a soap opera podcast that James has been on and Frank as well. So I've been pretty busy.
Carla next. Carla next.
I know. I've got Carla. She's on
Where
the
my
list.
invitation at, Diva?
Yeah.
Lost in the mail?
But you know how women are,
Yes, we good guess.
But yeah, I've been doing the Believe in Soap Operas, and like you said, the Forever and a Day, which guys, subscribe to that channel as well, because you get to see me do some acting, or hear me do some acting, really.
She's a lesbian.
Shocker. But yeah, no, it's like spoiler alert, James.
Good. That's what you want to tune in. I love your voice.
But yeah, so well, thank you. It's a little bit of Maxie, a little bit of Christina, so these people might recognize. That's sort of what I went with there. But occasionally I pull apparently a Billy and my accent slips because I've been here in Texas the whole time. So, things are a little bit different than they are in Cali, and I'm at least with family and the dog, who's adorable, Mr. Loki. So, yeah, I'm doing okay, but I can't wait to get back to LA now that stuff is opening back up.
Shout out to Tammy Govea, who's in here. We do the Bold and Beautiful.
Woo!
We did that earlier today, and it's out now on JLJ Media. She has some stuff coming up with my network also we're working on, so she'd say hi to her. And Loretta Johnson says, Carla, she agrees with you. It is just totally different. It's a whole different change with you. Now, my buddy, Mr. Frank Moran, get the beard going. What's going on with you?
That's the big thing for me, guys. Just really growing this, growing my waistline. It's great. I've easily gained 50, 70, 80 pounds during this time. So it's been great. Been eating my feelings.
Frank, you're too much. You are too much. How's the kidlet?
Doing fine. We're going to start homeschooling socially distant next Monday. So that'll be super fun.
Who's in charge of that? You or you? Are you going to be doing
Well,
it?
I mean, but when the school year ended this past year, I was in charge of that. So that was super fun. You really me. Yes. But
well, we know you're smart. Stop it.
But the school system had to kind of do these socially distant learning on the fly at the end of last year. So they've had the summer to kind of, now that they've decided they're going to go with this for at least the first part of the school year, they've actually come up with a program. We're going to get all the details on Wednesday. So
okay, good luck with that. In the chat room, someone asked, Lacretia and Frank, will you recap DC fandom? I don't know what that means. So
yeah, it's a DC specific online convention that they're doing. But yeah, like, I mean, we could.
DC fandom,
yeah.
Some interesting things. I mean, if we get to hear some more about Wonder Woman 84 or the Flash movie, if that really ever does.
Yeah.
We'll see if that happens. But yeah, I feel like there should be some cool announcements of some stuff going on that they've. Comic-Con didn't happen this year. I think DC's got. I mean, if we get to see something at all teased about Dwayne Johnson and the Black Adam movie, that would be cool.
Yeah, like I am curious as to what they'll have. So we'll just see.
Yeah, there might be a Suicide Squad teaser. Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I could see that.
Well, if you guys need a network to do a show on,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Not AfterBuzz?
No.
They're on hiatus.
Just checking.
Yes. Oh, and Carly, I want to know, you're still doing the Kirby Critic, right? You're putting out an episode. Yeah, it went out today, didn't you?
Yeah, I still do the Kirby Critic at 5:00. Michael B has been over there, and some folks that watch the General Hospital show that we do, they've been popping over. That's what I was saying before we went live. I've been trying to live stream every week. It's been shenanigans. Like the first time I did it was probably the best time I did it. But every week after that, like I think last week when I tried to do it, I was just talking, living my best life, and they couldn't hear nothing because I what? A, didn't press record, and B, had my mic on mute. I'm like, okay. So now I got to do trial runs.
Oh my God, that's
I
hilarious.
had to do trial runs because I was, y'all, I was used to recording it and then uploading it. So I never did it in real time unless I was at Black Hollywood Live. I never did it in real time ever.
Oh, really?
So now I'm doing it in real time, and it's a challenge.
I never knew.
What'd you say?
I never knew that. You didn't do it in real time.
Huh?
I never knew you didn't do it in real time. That's interesting.
No, I never did it in real time unless I was at Black Hollywood Live.
Okay.
But it's fun. It's I'm all down for a challenge, and I just laugh at myself because what can you do but laugh? I'm either gonna laugh or cry.
Thing, Carla, we're all on an even playing field. Even with like network TV and stuff, we're on an even playing field now. Everybody is doing this. Like, this is not like just
Oh
us.
my God.
This is
I am marveled at people that do it, and they're talking and interviewing and click, click, click. I'm like, y'all better go ahead with your bad self, because my ass is over here struggling. The struggle is real with a big old REAL, okay? I'm like, what is happening? I don't understand.
It's tough, folks. Put these shows together ain't easy, people. A lot goes into it.
It's fun, though, but it's fun.
It's fun. And yes, Lacretia and I will make an announcement. Probably will be doing the Y&R recap next week because it's coming back. People are asking. So yes, so just watch. Subscribe to JLJ Media, bitches, and you'll know everything. Let's talk about General Hospital. But the first thing I want to bring this out now in the open because I'm living for her and her portrayal. Sorry, Kelly Monaco. But Lindsay Hartley is giving me life as Sam. She is giving me life. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Everybody out there is loving it also. How do you guys feel about her?
Doesn't it seem like she's always on the verge of crying in every single scene that she's in?
That is very Sam.
Very Sam.
Yeah.
But I will say she does. I can see her being Alexis's daughter. There's something about the eyes of her that are like, yeah, all right, that makes sense.
And the hair.
Yeah, I will say, like, the thing with Alexis was really it. It's like they seem like mother-daughter. And that's the thing is I'm like, that first scene being with that, I'm like, yeah, I can dig it.
Carla, what are you thinking?
She's doing her thing. I like Kelly Monaco, and I like what I do. I like Kelly Monaco. I know y'all feel differently about that. Too bad, too sad. But
I like Kelly. I just don't think, the Sam character had some bad writing here and there.
This is true.
Yeah.
But having said all of that, you said her name is Lindsay, right?
Yeah.
Lindsay she's crushing it. She's really good. The thing that makes her really good is as we all know, it's really difficult when you are on soaps and fans are watching and they're used to a certain aura and a vibe and a face and a body that goes along with a character, and then all of a sudden you hear that announcement, the role of so-and-so is being played by so-and-so, and you're like, what's happening? What happened? What's going on? And then you find yourself having to make that visual pivot of deciding you get kind of taken out of the storyline for a minute because you're like so busy trying to decide whether or not you like the person that's now playing the role that you kind of like tap out of the storyline for a second. But Lindsay was so seasoned at doing this, because this isn't the first time she's had to do that. She's so seasoned at doing it that when she stepped into it, it felt like she'd always been there. Like you didn't see any weirdness with her and the other characters. It was like she had always been there. And that was the biggest telltale sign. When she did her scene with Jason, it didn't feel awkward. It didn't feel weird. It didn't feel like, ooh, where is the chemistry? It didn't feel like that with her and Alexis. It didn't feel like that with any scene that she was in. It was unlike, and I gotta go there, unlike that doll that was playing Brooklyn. Honey,
Other recast, folks.
Yeah.
Also,
I got a sip. Sorry.
I love Tammy's comment is that she's emotionally available. I'm like,
Shady Sunday.
I mean,
like, oh,
just
Tammy.
as in terms of just the character, I mean, that scene at the Metro Court with Carly, where Sam finally says, like, "All right, man, I effed up big time." Like that was a scene that I needed to happen months ago, because it like Sam has just been written so terribly.
Yeah, to me the writing
scene.
was better too. Yeah.
That was a great scene. I'm going to say this. So there's one thing to be said for the writing, but it's also something to be said for the acting too. Because maybe, you know, and no shade to Kelly Monaco, because I do love her. Maybe Homegirl's tired of playing Sam. You know, maybe she was tired of playing Sam to the point where she wasn't putting any effort behind her dialogue. And we were sitting back there going, ooh, she needs some new writing. And then we're looking at Lindsay, and the writing really is not that different than what they would have written for Kelly Monaco, but it was the way that Lindsay executed it versus the way Kelly Monaco executed it for me that made a difference. Because I was like, that scene in the Metro Court, I was like, well, okay then. And then the scene with her and Jason where she walked out that door and was like, all he saw was back, and she didn't turn back around, giving you doe deer eyes on the way out. Homegirl said goodbye, and he saw her ass as she was walking through the door, and that's all he saw. I was like, yes, Diva, that's how you leave a room, right there. Just saying.
Yeah, the stuff with Sam and Carly, especially, even when they're talking about Anna and Peter and things like that, I was like, I really liked that relationship more with the two of them.
Yeah, it was like I said, it's the way it was executed. It was different because with Kelly Monaco, you always got this underlying feeling that she felt intimidated by Carly. There was always some kind of intimidation with her and Carly. Child, you didn't feel no intimidation from Lindsay. Mm-hmm. Lindsay rolled up to that bar like she was about to lay her foot up in there. And Carly was even like, I know you upset. She's like, no, I'm not. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm actually happy. I came to thank you. And you're like, okay. I'm laughing at he over there crying, laughing at me.
Yeah, Jamie.
Oh my God. I agree with Frank that it's just really interesting. I mean, it's like first you get used to the kind of look and everything of her, but I don't know. I mean, it's something about her. It's just like there's scenes that needed to have happened a long time ago that happened this week that made sense. But I don't know, the way Lindsay executed it, it was like it worked for me. I mean, because most recasts are like, I wish that person was there.
No.
I didn't really give a shit. I was fine.
Let me tell you what. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Frank.
It's and maybe it's because I know Carla, you're a huge fan of Kelly Monaco. I mean, and she's fine. But for me, I wasn't as attached. Like the switch over didn't throw me off at all. I had really had no attachment to Kelly Monaco as Sam. I was like, yeah,
that's a whole nother conversation for another time. But you know what I do want to say? This is what got on my nerves this week. I'm going to tell you what got on my nerves this week. If I saw Cyrus Renault lurking in another hallway at General Hospital one more damn time, why was he lurking over every conversation that went down? I'm like, can he? And it was like,
no, my note was, I wrote this down. So Cyrus is everywhere. That was my note.
I can't. Why was he everywhere? Why was he everywhere and all up in every conversation? And he's still creepy. To his credit, hiatus, no hiatus, coronavirus, no coronavirus. My man was still intact. He was creepy AF all week long. I kind of love him for that. He was just him and his ponytail, just creepy. Just why? Just creepy. But I love him. I love watching him. I love watching him. Because you know who
he's a good actor.
He really is a good actor. He's good in the way that the dude that was playing not Julian, what's it, Shiloh. He's creepy like the way Shiloh was, but on a whole different level of creepy. Like that kind of creepy where you don't want to close your eye for a split second, because in that split second, you might have to like drop kick somebody. Like Like you just don't know what's up.
Well,
But
that's like, you know, when he got to Laura at first, and Laura was like,
that was scary.
She was like a dog
Yeah.
at him. She was like, I'm going to get you. I'm Laura, bitches. Like, hello, I've been around for 30 years. We're at 40 years. And then when he
Lucretia, what you got? Some sangria?
No, it's actually a Pim's cup.
Oh.
It's the what?
It's a Pim's cup. It's like a London liqueur, and I make it like my favorite bar that's now shut down due to Corona in LA, the Pikey, with strawberries, cucumbers, and mint, little ginger beer. Pretty
Yes. I just want people to know this is not my version of the red cup. It's really just water in here.
good.
Well, me and Frank were so.
But I saw you with alcohol, and I was like, "Oh, I should have had some alcohol."
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
I should have also. But no,
Continue.
no, I was gonna say it's I'm old. I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, so Frank, what do you think about? I'm old. I forgot what I was saying. I forgot what I was saying. Oh no, Laura. So the thing is, when he got her face at that end, it was like, you don't really want to mess with me. Like he got her face, and I mean, Jeannie Francis is a great actress. Obviously, it just was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, and she started to cry a little bit. I was like, ooh, she almost peed in her pants. She was like, this is not. He got her. He was like, him in that ponytail. Yeah, he got a ponytail. Yeah, she like cut his ponytail off. Yeah, but he got her face, and I was like, ooh. But him and Jordan, and you guys, about a month ago or so, you had Brianna Nicole Henry on GH Report.
We did.
That was a great interview.
She was lovely.
Yeah,
she was really lovely. I like her a lot.
Your interview changed my feelings about her. I was not into her. And when I watched your interview, I was like, no, I like her. And I did. She was so funny and sweet on your show. I liked her.
You know what that, yeah, same here. You know what that interview did for me when we interviewed her? I was able to see in that moment what a great actress she really is, because she is Brianna Nicole Henry ain't anything close to what Jordan is. Like it's and you don't find that often. Like usually when you see people on soaps, there's some part of them that's very similar or very close in the lane of what they're playing. Like when we had Wes on, Frank, Wes is not that far removed from who he plays. He's not that far removed from Peter in terms of his aura and his energy, but Brianna is like the polar opposite of what she plays. I love her. She's the bomb.com.
I like her.
She was great.
I like her now.
Yeah, I mean, and there's something about frustrations that you have with the character on the show. And it's always nice to hear if an actor can be, it's not slamming anything, but can be candid and say that, you know, they've had their frustrations with certain scenes and character choices as well. And it was really nice to hear her say that, because I feel like, oh yeah, cool. All right. I mean, there is a job component to those performances, so you don't have total control of everything. So how do you make the best of a given scene or character choice as you can? And it was
Frank,
cool.
Well, Frank, how do you feel about right now with Cyrus holding things over him, trying to make her, you know, do his bidding?
Yeah. I mean, of course, always anybody that's like trying to run like a double cover, you know, a go double agent, they've always got to connect with Jason and finally say, like, oh yeah, I realize how awesome you are now. And you would be a great blank, in this case, a cop. You would be a great cop if only you first at that pier when you were all mindless. So, you know, she had that bonding moment with Jason. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what she does. And it would, of course, you know, they had that moment and Jason goes in the coma or he's laid up or whatever he's got going on with him.
Jason Quartermain again?
Yeah, or Dylan McAvoy, since could be a good cop.
Why is it more often than not all of Jason's injuries just have to do with just brain injuries?
Yes.
Oh,
it's like the dude would be a vegetable by now. Are we gonna have a CTE story? Like, yeah.
That is pure comedy. You know what else? I don't know if this bothered y'all or not, but this is another thing that really bothered me. Another thing that really, really bothered me is that court case with Nell, where she has the little fake heart attack and then she comes back and she's totally fine. Like, I needed to see how she got out of that. Like, really? All of a sudden she's like, and then the next scene she's like this.
I know, there was a little jarring.
Yeah.
It was a little jarring. It
was a little busted is what it was. It was a little busted. A little wrong. Like y'all couldn't make that transition a little smoother, a little better. Like, couldn't she slowly but surely come out of it without, you know, being Betty Davis? I'm just like, come on now.
Oh no. Like I loved her screaming in the courtroom and then having the panic attack. It's like, oh homegirl, you just
Yes.
her yelling at Julian was the best part. Like
No, her
just
yelling at
breaking
Martin
down.
was the best part. Her
Yeah,
yelling at
that's-
Martin when he was
yeah.
like, Nell, just shut up. She's like, no,
Just
you
shut up.
shut up.
I mean, Michael E. Knight, I mean, that role is a throwaway role, to be wrong. But he plays it so well. Like his expressions, look on his face, he's like this big.
But let's talk about him for a second.
Yeah.
Because he forgot he forgot for most of the week that he was supposed to have a Southern accent. So for the first part of the week, he didn't have one. And then at some point literally in the middle of a sentence, the Southern accent kicked in. I'm like, you ain't been on hiatus that long, bro, man. Get it together.
God, Shady Sunday.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
No,
Y'all know I'm telling you, do not have a bell like they do on The View. Stop it.
Or the basically bell.
It's
Love Line.
But am I the only person that noticed that? Didn't y'all notice
I'm
that?
laughing because it's true, but you just called it out. I was going to go there, but you called it out.
I'm like, am I the only person that saw that? Because that was like,
no, we saw it. I just kind of.
and the other thing, and the other thing that I saw that was busted. Now, anybody that's in a jail cell or ever been in a jail cell, no, they not letting you have nothing in there that's sharp, especially if you have been a person that has exhibited violence or mental illness. Why is Dante's ass up in the jail cell with a number 2 pencil? Just saying.
Well, the guy who used to be on One Life to Live, who's the doctor.
Kane Rogan, Christopher Cousins. Yeah.
He was on One Life to Live. He said, we give you a pad and paper so you can write. I don't get it. I'm sorry.
But number 2 pencil, that's all I'm saying. Number 2 pencil, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. It can be a shank. I'm just saying.
I understand.
My excitement for seeing Dante on Monday's episode was quickly tempered by Wednesday when we had to hear Dante go down that rabbit hole again. I'm like, but I can't go for healing because I might kill my wife. I'm like, oh man, how long are we going to be dealing with this stuff? It just like immediately took away any excitement I have for having Dante back, because I feel like we're going to be spending weeks, if not months, trying to get Dante to a point where he's like, I need to try to deal with my pain. I
oftentimes don't agree with you, Frank, but I agree with you on that one. I was all excited, and then when I saw the number 2 pencil, and then I saw him keep having flashbacks, I was like, yeah, I'm not down for 4 months of this. Y'all gonna have to figure that out and fast. Like, no.
I mean, introduce him with like now at the point where he wants to try to say, correct whatever's in his mind, try to make himself better so he can go back to his family. Don't show me the weeks or months leading up to him making that choice finally. He's been gone for so long.
They didn't seem to do a flash forward with very, very many storylines, actually. When I think about it, hardly the only one that really got a teeny tiny bit of a flash forward was the situation with Sonny, which I'm sure we're going to talk about later, but that was the only one that got like a little teeny tiny bit of a flash forward from where we last saw them, like a little bit of forward movement. But I agree with you, Frank, going back to where we were with him the last time we saw him, like how come we couldn't see him like 6 months later down the line where he is in that particular mental state? Why are we seeing him in the same state that he's in before? That was bananas, and it didn't make sense to me. It just was like, why? I don't understand.
I just wish I cared.
Yeah.
I just really don't. I mean, I hate the character of Lulu. They ruined the character, so I don't give really 2 shits. And so that's the problem. I'm like, great, he's back. I think he's a great actor. I like him. But I don't care for her. And I'm just like, come back, don't come back, stab yourself with a pencil, write, whatever, don't write.
He's fine, though. So I gotta kind of have him on the screen. He's fine.
Yeah, those sweatpants. Looking good.
But he look like really thin. He looked emaciatingly thin.
You're not eating well in the WSB, psychiatric ward.
But you ain't got to look like a poster child for UNICEF either. I'm like, what's going on?
I will Jason's return back when they find him in that hospital or sanitarium in Russia to getting him back to Port Charles where he crashes through the skylight there in the Metro Court and everybody gets to see him. I thought that in terms of pacing and getting a character that people were genuinely excited to see back into the mix in Port Charles was handled really well. And
I agree.
Dante thing
Yeah.
is like, it's the pace of it. I feel like it's going to be interminable trying to get him back to Port Charles.
Mm-mm.
I just.
Mm-mm.
But I mean, he is. I mean, in terms of like, I'll go. A part of the storyline at the beginning of the week, of course, was Ned and Olivia, and we see where they're going with that storyline. Robert calling Robert. And I'm sorry, because I watched Days of Our Lives, and Wally Kurt's on both shows right now. He looked extra good on GH. I don't know what's going on Days, but on GH, I was like, "No, Wally." I'm like,
He had that hairline up in the back. They had that one shot where you can see that he got a fresh haircut. Like all of this was like perfectly lined up. I'm like, ooh, somebody got a haircut.
I was like, he looked good. But her whole thing about missing her son makes sense. It's in character. Makes sense. And how she said everybody just moved on, and even Lulu got a boyfriend, and the way she was saying it was like a true Italian, like New York mother kind of. It made sense to me. So I mean, Dante coming back. I don't mind if it comes back. That's fine. But I just don't care about him and Lulu. I just don't really. I mean, I like her with what's his name. So I mean, Mr.
Dusty.
Thank you.
Dusty.
Yeah, or he used to be Brody, but now he's Dusty.
Yeah, I almost said Brody. I almost said Brody. That's what I almost said.
Yeah.
Ooh, good check.
Yeah, I almost said that.
I'm all down for any scenes that are going to give me more Wally Kurth time. So give me your Ned and Olivia scenes. The only thing that seemed to me is that Olivia's escalation of her difficulties with Ned seemed out of the blue to me because
no.
Well, I mean, we knew she'd been struggling with Dante, but not that Ned had been inattentive because we don't see them around enough to know that Ned has been so distant. Or
this is what I do disagree, not to interrupt you, but this is what I do disagree with about that. During the course of that particular storyline, we have seen him be inundated with ELQ mess and Brooklyn. So if he's inundated with ELQ mess and Brooklyn, how he gonna have time to give to her and Leo? He just didn't. And every time we would see them in a scene, unless it was something where he had to come to her rescue for something, we saw them have no romance. We saw them have no moments. We saw them have no anything. So this is one of those storylines I felt like they sped it up just a little bit to let you know that there has been some frustration there that had been building up. And so that's why, in my opinion, I'm justifying it. So in my opinion, that's why she had that moment that she had, because what they can't do, or what they're seemingly trying not to do, is to drag that out so that we're sitting there going, why are they dragging this out? Why don't she just tell him how she feel already? You know what I mean? So now she didn't tell him how she felt. And then I love that they made him acknowledge to Brooklyn. I wish that he had acknowledged that to her, but he acknowledges to Brooklyn, yeah, Olivia feels like she's not getting enough attention to me. And then he goes, she ain't wrong. What you gonna do about that, my man? You just gonna tell your daughter she ain't wrong, and that's gonna be it?
It has to happen with Brooklyn because it conveniently times up with her wanting to tell him all about Valentine. And it's like, oh, now I'm doing my dad a favor by keeping quiet.
And yet again, she makes a busted. How many times do we have to see her make a busted decision for all the right reasons in her mind? Like, I don't need you to make another busted decision. Like, this is what I had a problem with this week. They have painted her to be such a smart cookie from Bensonhurst, New York, right? They've painted her to be this round the way, street smart chick. How stupid does she have to be to sit there and listen to Valentine tell her how she could be a star? Do we really believe Brooklyn is that dumb?
Hey, Valentine is very attractive and very smart. And I'm just saying, like, you know, even Brooklyn could be swayed. I mean, I'm just saying. Like,
good point. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
He's fine, but I'm just like, the shenanigans ensue. Now he done set his sights off of Nina. Now he was another one skulking all over Pine Valley this week. Every time you turned around, he was talking to a different person. Hey, let me talk to you about them ELQ shits. Hey. I'm like,
Pine Valley.
I loved it.
Which there was a Pine Valley reference.
I mean, Port Charles.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Pine Valley because I was thinking about they had that nod to Pine Valley in the court case where they were talking about Sky Chandler and all that.
Yeah.
That's why I said Pine Valley. My bad. Freudian slip.
And there are folks who got mad at me because they're like, no, Sky Chandler Quartermain would never sell her stocks, and she worked very hard to be part of that. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Because again, Valentine, why not?
You know,
Look.
a real sweet spot right now with Valentine and James Patrick Stewart. I mean, he's always been great playing that role, but when he first came on, they had painted him, they had put him at such a disadvantage.
Did you say James Patrick Stewart? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
Homeboy is Patrick
okay, never
Stewart.
mind.
There's James Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I thought that was Captain Kirk. Okay,
Well, that's
continue.
Captain Picard, but
Picard
okay.
is Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
Look, I'm like James. I'm old. Give me a pass.
I know.
Continue.
That's fine. Yeah.
Continue.
They put him at such a disadvantage coming in with everything that happened with Nicholas, and then all the stuff, the con that he's running with Nina. But now there's just something with him trying to do an ELQ takeover where it's, I mean, because you can't even say it's like revenge against Michael because he's still compassionate about everything that's going down with Nell. He sides with Michael over Nell about custody and is trying to like, don't do this because it's going to be wrong. And there's just something about seeing him manipulating to get what he wants, but he's not being completely cruel because he knows he can offer other people something in return for those stocks. So it's just been really cool just seeing him kind of just wine and dine various characters.
And it's funny
because he does seem to genuinely care about like Sasha, like that scene that they have, and that's one thing that they're doing well with him that was similar to like Nicholas before, where it's like, yeah, he can do some bad things here or there, like going and taking over ELQ, but he's really just giving people what they want, and it's not really illegal. So
right, exactly. And I love this whole BLQ. I was like, oh, that's cutesy. BLQ. I'm for that one. But the actress, like, bring back my other girl, but she'll be back soon. I know she'll be back soon, I'm sure. But I was just like,
yeah, because she is pregnant, so at least she's gone for like a happy reason. I'm like, because I love Amanda. I was so happy that she's Brooklyn. So I kind of hope that we don't get Dante with her until Amanda comes back, but because that's what I've been wanting to see.
Well, Maxie was pulled down for her friend. And here's the part. Here's my favorite scene of the week, folks. Scene of the week. Okay. Maxie goes off on her New Brooklyn, BLQ. Lucy drags her out. And she's like, why are you so upset? Because deception is my baby. Lucy got angry. She was like, and she didn't roll her neck and abuse me. She wanted to say was like, bitch, that is my baby. Who the what? She wanted to go off on her. She got really gay. And then Max was like, well, it was your baby first. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but Lucy that was my favorite scene. The whole. She was just like, excuse me, that is my. So I love that. And Lucy had to let her check her for a second. Be like, no, this is good business sense. But I thought her just throwing so hard down for Lulu. I'm like, that's a good friend. That's a good friend.
That is a good friend. That is a really good friend.
I just don't care.
She always goes
the
down for
Lucy
her.
stuff. Yeah.
I love Lucy. Lucy is like a breath of fresh air because she just no matter what the situation is, whether it's dramatic or whether it's comedic, she's always the same. Like she never varies from whatever that formula is, no matter what the situation. And I kind of love her for that. Lucy Herring, look, gotta love her. Yeah. Gotta love her.
It was nice.
Yeah, to me.
Go ahead, Lacretia.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I really liked the whole group there, with Maxie, Sasha, Valentine, and Lucy. Like, they tended to play off each other pretty well in that.
I agree. Frank?
Let's just backtrack for a second for that. What's her name? Sasha?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little annoyed that we've had all this time and they had Sasha acting like she didn't have no drug problem. Did we forget that went down?
It's coming back up. It's going to come back up.
I felt like the scene with Chase, she was definitely on drugs. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, girl, calm down. It's going to be okay.
She was very hyper, but I was just like, looking at the pictures, I'm like, you mean to tell me not in one of them damn pictures she didn't look crazy? Get out
when
here.
Lucy took Maxie out of the office and it was just and Sasha's behind them closing the door, I thought she was going to turn back around to Valentine and Brooklyn and just say, anybody want to do a bump? Let's just cut this weird tension, guys. Let's just do it. Let's do it.
Shoot. I believe I like
You are
that.
a
Train.
hot buttered
It seemed like a
mess.
nice icebreaker, you know.
They all want Sasha on Coke.
You know, wait, yeah.
They all want her on Coke. You guys all
But,
want her on Coke?
But
She
there was
already
something
on
about-
Coke. What you mean you don't want her on
But
Coke?
they want her on it.
She
They want
already
her on
been
it.
sniffing up her nose. What y'all talking about?
So they want her. They want her on it. They want her on Coke.
Oh, they want her on it.
Mhm.
I just
I
don't
don't
know that PA that seems to just have cocaine just to give out like crazy. Like, come on.
Yeah, on a PA salary, that's just unbelievable. I'm
just
sorry.
it's
Like,
$19.85.
this is the problem I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have a problem
I
with that whole
17 again?
situation. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's
There was
just-
something about Sasha running into Chase in the courthouse, and as they kind of recap their choices that they made in this ridiculous storyline, that just hearing it again after so many months of the show not being on, you're like, this is just a stupid storyline, guys.
Yeah.
So I'm going to flip over to Nell and Nina because I love when Nina was like, because she's a liar. I was like, thank you. In court, loved it. And I love my second favorite scene. Martin going, I object. And Diane's like, but that's your objection to your own witness.
Oh, yes.
And he was like,
That was a great moment. She's
Oh.
like, but that's your client. But you, what was it? You can't
Like, but
object
that's
to
your
your own witness.
Your own
That's
witness.
what it was.
And his
You
face,
can't object to your own witness. And the
went,
look
oh.
on his face was like, whoa.
exactly. I loved it. I loved it. But he was like, I just think she's a liar. I was like, yes. Go ahead, Patricia. I just loved it.
I love the two of them going off on one another, like Diane and Marty. I'm like, I like the fact that they were the lawyers, just because they're both really funny. In this case, is stupid anyway. Like we say, the whole Wiley thing is dumb. Like, yeah, it went the direction I thought. No shocker or twist there, but yeah, Marty and Diane, I could do all day.
And Carly was like,
Yeah.
like in the candy store. She was just sitting there smiling when Nina was going off on the stand. She's just like, she could have been happier. She could have been any happier. It's like she was
living her
Yeah.
best life.
I love that.
Her life was golden. Like,
She was living her best life. She was like, I tried to tell y'all. Like, she had that look on her face like, I've been telling y'all for months. See? Boom. Like, if she could have jumped up and did a cartwheel in front of the bench, she probably would have. She was killing me.
But I even like the scene in Crimson when Nell comes in to come after Nina, and Nina just shuts it down, saying, whoa, let's break it all down about this whole history of everything that's going
Nina
on.
was like, did you forget I was in town when Bob happened? Did you forget that? I was like, well, she's showing the receipts.
She had the receipts.
And you can't negate them.
She had the receipts. She did. She broke it down.
She had credit card receipts, honey. The kind with
But
the swipe on them.
I did like that Nell sort of, just blew back at her though. Like, well, you did all that stuff too, hon, and you only got away with it because you have a silver spoon in your mouth. Like, and I was like, all right, I am for it.
To see what's gonna happen when she finds out that's her mama.
Oh yeah, that'll be hilarious for both of them.
It's gonna be hilarious.
I just need to.
I feel like they kind of deserve each other. Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be like. It's gonna be popcorn and cocktail time.
Well, Frank, what do you think about that? About Nell and Nina being that she's probably gonna be the child, not Willow, not Sasha.
No.
I mean, I guess it makes sense here with the whole with Nina coming to Nell in the hearing, because if you're gonna make this revelation, you've got to be at a point where Nell hates the fact that the woman she hates the most is also somebody that she wants the most in her life. And same thing for Nina, the one that this lady that's just crazy finds out, oh man, this nutbag is my daughter. Ah, fantastic.
Nutbag. It's gonna be very interesting. And on a side note, I see chemistry between Valentina and Sasha. I see some chemistry there. I don't know, I see it.
Oh yeah, I do too. And like, he has chemistry with everyone, but yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to Sasha. Like,
I wouldn't be.
Why not?
Yeah.
If it's just going to be her going down the rabbit hole of cocaine, there's got to be something more for that girl to be doing on the show.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But now I want to bring up the point that, another major point, because this leads to Jason being knocked out for the 5,000th time. This time we have I'm going to make you the power of attorney of my life, Carly. Best friend.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's in character. I guess you guys agree with that whole thing. I guess it's in character. Anybody?
Yeah, like as I'll say, I will always like Jarly. I think that Jason and Carly really are in game. She's the only woman he should be with because she's the only one he makes better. So I'm all for it.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see, like, why are these scenes happening? And then, of course, by
Yeah.
the end of the week, you're like, all right, we got to just, but there really wasn't even any sort of like tension about it. It was like, no, that was a really good thing. I might have been mad in the moment, but no, it was the best call. Like, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
it was odd because it was like, why is this here? Like, okay, but then they paid it off, I guess. But it's like there was no drama really about it.
Not really.
Yeah, it's like, Diane,
Yeah.
fax me over those PDFs so I can make sign any paperwork I need to. Like,
I was like,
great.
all
Cool.
of that was just
Okay.
a lot. But you know, the moment of the week, and I know y'all are gonna feel differently about this because I talk about it all the time, and I know Lacretia in particular is gonna feel some kind of way about it. Is, you know, I've been fully invested in the whole Sunny storyline because I'm living that right now.
Oh.
So I was fully invested in it, and then on top of everything else, I got some news about one of my other parents. So I watched that whole thing play out sobbing because of where I am in my personal life. I'm sure most people that watched that were like, this is stupid. But for me, because it resonates with me in a different way in my real life, I was a sobbing, blubbering mess.
No,
I cried with the scene with Elizabeth too. Like it was a very well done scene, and this has been Maurice's best work with Max Gale. This is a tough storyline, and they're killing it. And you know,
like when they showed him Yvonne on that ventilator,
yeah,
and because he literally in his mind had convinced himself that putting Mike on that feeding tube was going to be the best thing. And then he goes and he sees Yvonne on that ventilator, and it's like, yeah, I'm not really trying to see that right now. And then Elizabeth, you're right,
yeah.
Lacretia, when she basically says to him, he's just a shell of the man that he once was. And she breaks it down. She broke it down, boom, 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 as to why this wasn't a good decision for him and that nobody would blame him for making that decision, especially Mike. Child, I was like, it looked like somebody had, I looked like I was doing that bucket challenge where they were throwing water on people. It was so sad.
No, I'm going through it too. So with my stepmother. So it's the crazy Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever you want. Those things are very, very tough. And we're part, and Carla, we're part of the sandwich generation. They call us. We're a certain age group where we have the older folks above us that we're dealing with, and then for me, I have kids and grandkids. I'm dealing with their stuff at the same time. So I'm in the middle somewhere. We're kind of say we're that kind of generation.
Yeah, I ain't got no kids.
I know, but I'm saying that we're part of that generation that we're dealing with older parents and parent figures that we're at that age group. We kind of are at this point. It's more common than you think. So the storyline is really hitting heavily to a lot of people. And I cried first time in a long time in General Hospital. I've cried for other reasons watching the show, but this case I was actually crying for a good reason, and it was Elizabeth and Sunny's conversation. That was the part that got me the most. Even him and Jason, that was one too, but it was when she brought up Mary May and was quoting
and Lucky,
and Lucky.
Yeah, what was that she said? I wrote down what she said. What did she say? She said something. Oh, she. This is what she said. She said that Mary May used to tell Lucky that life presents opportunities for Grace realize. And grace comes when we have to make difficult choices for our loved ones. Baby, when she said that, it was like, whoosh.
Yeah, same here.
I was like, I can't.
No, this is some of Maurice Bernard's best work. I mean, because it's quiet. It's not showy. It's realistic. It's like
he's not yelling. He's not bombastic. He's not popping off and looking like Sonny. He's not looking like Michael Corleone from The Godfather. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is a different kind. This is what would happen if they had gotten to a place with The Godfather where we could see that with Michael Corleone and his dad in that film. It's like they took it to a whole new level and put it on General Hospital and made something really special and beautiful out of it. So that was cool.
Frank, what did you think about the storyline?
The acting was great, especially that scene between Sonny and Liz. I mean, I guess I'm torn with the storyline. I don't have the personal attachment like the two of you have to the storyline. So again, I struggle with appreciating the acting in those moments, but also like I've been done with the storyline for a while.
Didn't I tell you?
So you're ready? It was going to end soon, I guess.
But part of me was when Sonny said, hey, if you want to go to sleep now, you can. I wanted Max Gail to just go, and that was it. We're gone. We're done. We're done.
He's wrong. He's all kinds of wrong. I love that. Shady Sunday. I love it.
You are truly the Tin Man. You are truly the Tin Man. You are the Tin Man of General Hospital. You are.
I love it. Go to sleep.
You are the Tin Man of the General Hospital panel.
I love it. That's why I love it.
Well, speaking of GH, though, because I know we had struggles with the show before it went on hiatus, some of the storylines and the pacing of everything. I will be honest and say I did not miss the show while it was gone. And even when it was coming back and they said they announced the date of it returning, I was like, do I really want to get back into the show? Do I really want to do it? And, I mean, I probably still would have watched it, but, for James not saying like, hey, you want to do this next Sunday? I was like, all right, I've got a reason to watch this show. I mean, I probably still would have watched it, but, and I still don't know if this week answered any of the questions that I'm excited about, other than Michael's really cool new post-COVID hairdo.
Oh, it's all long now. All long.
Well, it's all swooped up top. It's got that huge wave sweep. Yes. I don't know how you guys feel. Are you excited to have the show back? Did this week satisfy what you were missing about the show, or did it just kind of reawake those frustrations you had before it went off the air?
Good question. Ladies, want to go first before I get shady?
Yeah, like I actually enjoyed having it back. It's funny. I was a little sad when they quit doing the, classics over there, because as much as I hate J. Sam and Carson and stuff like that, I enjoyed a lot of the episodes like they picked, because like they were from, at least a little further back than say the nurses' balls were, which I enjoyed, but I kind of wish they'd condensed those a little more and we had maybe some more time for some different episodes and choices. But yeah, like I felt like they picked some decent ones, and the Sonny's Kids was funny. It was tongue in cheek. So I enjoyed watching that. It was that lull between, the replays that they were doing closer to the show that I was really missing it. So to have this back and it be as good as it was, I will say, like, I felt like they did sort of listen, because the Liz and Sonny scene really stood out as being like, this is like good 90s General Hospital. You're mentioning history, and that's been one of my biggest complaints. You've got Lucky and Mary May, and this is just a really good, like, small scene. And then, I like Valentine, so I like that he's sort of involved and we're really going somewhere with that. And that even this Jason storyline gives me, maybe this could be good. Maybe this is a good direction. Like, and it's nice to see like Laura and Portia, like the stuff that's not about like the Jason and Sonny mob. I feel like they are going away from that. We're having Sonny deal with this very realistic issue, not so much that. So a lot of the things I didn't like are being, going forward are not going to be that big of a deal, I don't think.
Carla, what do you think?
I agree with a lot of what, let me turn my phone off. Child, my friends be texting. I'm like, why are y'all texting me? I agree with a lot of what Lacretia said. I feel like the writing was exceptional this particular week, because they did have time. They weren't trying to crank it out once a day. You know what I mean? So they had time to really sit and marinate and think about what they wanted these characters to say and how they wanted them to say it. And I'm also not mad that they kind of spread the wealth around so that everybody could get a paycheck in quarantine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everybody was used. Everybody got some money. You get a scene. You get a scene. You get a scene.
Oh, it's so funny. For me, I'm kind of about all three of you. I'm feeling what Frank's feeling. I'm feeling what you guys are feeling. Once they got past those, 2015 and went back in time, I was very happy to see some of the things. And the week of Sonny's Children, that was very interesting. That was a good week.
Yeah.
Certain weeks I was like, oh yeah, that's good. I like that. That's good. So wish they went further back, but that's another story. But General Hospital has a lot of issues for me. It still does. Even when it came back, it still does. I think the acting company is there. So I'm not worried with the actors. The actors are good. They're there. I think some situations are good. It's a good setup. I have a feeling we're going back to the mob again with the Cyrus thing, and I don't want that. I wasn't a fan of the Guzzi years. I didn't like the whole mob stuff. I was like, no, that's not what I want again. I feel like we're heading that direction again. I'm like, oh, that once Sonny buries buries Mike, he's back into the mob stuff again. And I'm just like, I know he's a mobster. I know it's part of his thing, but I don't want to see it. So I have that problem, kind of.
We might not, though.
They seem to be going. Yeah.
Because Mike's passing might have a significant shift on what happens with Sonny moving forward. We don't know.
But do you have faith in the show? I feel like Frank now. I don't have faith in the show that they're going to perform like that. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I hope they do. Like you said, you're right. They do that. It'd be great. But I just have a feeling they're gonna go slide right into that again.
You know why I think they won't? Because one thing that has come out while people have been shut in and shut at home is that people watching television and watching movies have little to no patience for mediocrity. They want to see something elevate to a certain level. That's why if you notice, a bunch of shows have been canceled and snatched off of television just for that reason. And soaps are not going to be any different. They've been trying to kill General Hospital for quite some time. So, I mean, because it literally is the only soap opera left on the ABC network. So having said that, if they were smart and they watch this show, which I know a lot of them do, they watch us wherever we are talking about General Hospital, whether it's you, Lacretia, me, or Frank. Anytime we say something about it, I seem to notice that whatever we said ends up being on that show. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's just calling a spade a spade. Whatever any one of us say, we end up seeing it being executed in the script on that show. So having said that, if they were smart, they would make the pivot along with everybody else. Because if they do not, General Hospital's not going to last much longer. Because people aren't going to have the patience for it.
Yeah. And I do see them reinvesting in it because there were big promotions about it coming back. So it almost seems like, again, like when Ron was brought over, when they canceled One Life to Live and All My Children, to, supposedly cancel it basically and end it. Then when it started doing better because there was only one, like me, but they seem to have renewed the interest with all the big promotions on other networks in prime time you're seeing for General Hospital. And to me, it seems like, because they realize these soap actors, they'll work. They want to work and people are watching. And General Hospital had pretty decent ratings during the quarantine, just like Y&R, even though most of theirs were just classic episodes.
Yep.
So for sure, these two are sticking around and they seem to be reinvesting in them. So maybe that is it, because we're seeing this quick change with Jason and Sonny and Sam, and that maybe they are going a different direction. Because, this mob stuff is tied to Jordan and Laura and Portia and Trina, and hopefully Taggart is back if they're listening to us talk.
Yes.
It is one of those things that I feel like it's a bigger story too. It's touching a lot of lives, that it's not necessarily just a mob story.
Frank,
but if we could have the Zakaras back, I'd be fine. Yeah.
Okay. What are you thinking? Frank?
There's part of me, I mean, I guess I want to try to be hopeful, although it's tough for me to do because I don't, I have a heart.
It's not you.
Because you're the Tin Man of GH.
Yeah.
Especially when I see the stuff they're doing with Brando, where it was just frustrating. One thing I get frustrated with the General Hospital is when you are ahead of the show, of what the show wants to show you. So something went down between Cyrus and Brando. Of course, Jason's got the wreck, and then they're playing coy about it. Just like, show us that scene, show us that flashback. We know Brando and Cyrus had a conversation. Why are you stalling this out to just, for days and days and days and days? So it's like the way they pay stuff out kind of frustrates me. And that little Brando situation did not excite me for what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, I'm afraid they're going to ruin the character of Brando too. I think they're going to ruin him.
I feel like he is going to be a bad guy, but I like the actor, but the character, it is like the whole Corbin thing still bugs me because it's like that was a made up name. So like if we want to make him, a bad, fine, because the actor's pretty good.
He's good. He's good. He's good.
They just don't know what to do with him. Yeah,
Michael B thinks Brando's going to take over for Jason.
I think so too.
Yeah, he's great. He said,
I can see that. I can
Yeah.
totally see that.
me too. I can see that. That's on. I mean, I just, I don't know. I'm hoping for. I mean, all 4 soaps. I'm watching them all, so I'm hoping that they really do. And now with the fact that they're doing them in closer time to release, not the 6, 7, 8 weeks. They're kind of 2 weeks and they're coming out. Maybe they'll see fan reaction, like Carla was saying, see the reaction and then change and modify sooner. Because before,
trust me, I've seen them do it.
Right.
I've seen them do it. I see it happen all the time. They trust and believe. They soap opera producers and writers, more so than any other production team in television, they listen to the fans because soap operas are built on the backs of the fans. It's the fans that keeps shows like General Hospital on the air. It's no coincidence and no accident that of all the ABC soaps that didn't get canceled, GH is the one that's still standing. And it's because of the fans. Just like any soap, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, Young and the Restless, all of those shows have die-hard, core fans. And they listen. They have to. Because if they didn't listen to what we say, then the storylines would be exponentially worse than they already are.
Because you saw them change the Nicholas and Ava with Frizz situation because it was going into an indecent proposal territory. And I don't think, certainly Frizz fans and people who love Ava and Nicholas were not interested in that. It's like, no, let's do something fun with them, not, gross. But yeah, we'll see next week when they're all back.
Frank, what are you thinking?
There was that scene where Maxie and Lulu, and Maxie tells Lulu, I've already taken 3 home pregnancy tests. They all came back positive. And then when the nurse comes into the room, are those the test results? Like, Max, you already know what they are. Come on. Don't be dumb. This is a dumb scene. Why am I watching a dumb scene?
And don't get me started. Everyone from the GH universe knows how much I hate the character of Peter. Everybody knows this. Everyone knows it. I'll have to repeat it over and over again. Repeat it over and over again. But you all know how I hate the character and I want him off the show. And I hate that she's pregnant by him. I know obviously it's by him. So I will just close my eyes and talk to Soap Jesus, and hopefully the storyline will end a certain way.
Maybe Lucy was foreshadowing when she was yelling, abort, abort, abort.
Oh, no.
Yes. Jacob Marquez.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, that's okay. And we're going to end the show now on that note because it has been an hour. I want to thank everyone who actually came in and watched. So we had 24 people in here watching us. So thank you so much for watching.
Wow.
I know for a lot of folks it was strange for them to not go to AfterbuzzTV. Oh, that's the wrong quote. AfterbuzzTV dead. Oh, that's the wrong quote there. And so it's at JLJ Media now. So no quotes for that. So I want to thank everybody for coming in and talking and sharing with us. And someone said earlier they thought Carla looked great. DT Durr said you look great, Carla.
Say who said what?
DT Durr, D-U-R-R.
Oh, hey DT, how you doing?
Dion's Corner is in here. What we're gonna do a show, Dion. Michael B, Rodelli. This is usually what Carla does. Daisy Flower 40, Annie Goen, of course, in here. Michael B, Kelly Public Cover. You found your way in here. Okay.
Yeah.
Marlon Wallace, my buddy, who I met this time last year at the Capital City Web Awards. We actually met each other. And
Marlon, where you been at?
Where you been at? I love that. Where you been at? And Haywood Wong. Yes, Haywood, of course. Haywood. He loves all these shows. But thank you, the 3 of you, for doing this. And who knows, folks out there, he may do it again. I don't know. We'll see how he feels. See how everybody feels. But we all will be watching, of course. And just if you tune into JLJ Media, you'll know if we're on again.
There you go.
Okay, so we're going to start with Frank Moran. Tell folks to find folks so they can find yourself on the social media platforms.
Well, if you want to let the buzz begin,
It's there.
follow me. Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie.
That's right. Lacretia Lyon, tell them.
Yeah, since I'm Lacretia Lyon, guys, you can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet since there is only one.
Only one, bitches. I looked. And then we got my girl, Carla Renata. Tell them all your goodness, please.
Y'all can find me across all social media platforms at The Curvy Critic, and check out my show at 5 o'clock on Sundays on YouTube and Facebook Live, The Curvy Critic with Carla Renata.
That's
because
right.
BHL is on hiatus.
It's on hiatus, bitches. Yeah.
But now it is awesome just to be with two media titans. Usually I'm with one or the other. Today, two media titans. With Lacretia as a rising star in the media titan.
She's doing a lot. The girl's doing a lot. She's working it out. Line is working it out. She's the only one.
She be busy.
So she be busy. She's working it out.
She be busy.
I always call her up for stuff, so you know I always call her for stuff. And I'm James Lott Jr. You can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr.'s of Soul. That James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. That's right, bitches. Even on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. Follow me. I'm a star on there. And then, of course, JLJ across every platform, every streaming service, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So I put out every day. I have about 30 shows now on the network. And so I put out every day the list of what shows are coming out. And you're watching today, of course, all the soap stuff is out. I interviewed Brittany Sarpy, who's on General Hospital. She's on my Y&R Mini Spotlight today. You can go and watch that. Bold and Beautiful Mini Spotlight with Tammy Govey and Amanda Russ is out. Forever in a Day podcast with Candace Mack and Tony Moore. We did that after show today. And of course, this one. That's with us. We'll be out there for you guys to peruse and comment. Share it with everybody. You guys, please stay safe. Wear a goddamn mask. Wash your hands. And have compassion.